Can you hear it now?
Faintly.
Faintly.
Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, scrap the music, man. We can't
No
hear.
music. All right. It was good in the practice run.
We've got a lot of content. We've got several folks on, so
We ready to go? I mean,
we're
yeah.
ready for all.
Yeah, let's start adding value right away. So thanks everyone for joining. We are going to do this building the ultimate D2C skincare loyalty program in a little bit of a unique format. If you've been following along with some of the marketing of this particular event, you know that this is a competition. And right now you're looking at the two co-hosts. Chris is co-founder and CEO of Flaunt, and myself, Connor, I'm the co-founder and CEO of Flaunt. We've known each other since we were 2 years old. You can tell even back then we used to be friends, and maybe there was even a little bit of competitive spirit, maybe some jealousy on my part about whatever was going on. Today we're foes. We each picked a loyalty program, a skincare brand that are both really, really exciting. And we dive deep into actually demonstrate the process that we take for designing a differentiated, profitable, and impactful loyalty program. In one corner, myself, I designed a loyalty program for Marn Skincare. Marn Skincare is an up-and-coming brand that's doing some really, really unique things that I'll get into later. And Chris designed a loyalty program for Frownies, which is a storied brand that, there you go, has been around for a very long time. I was so surprised to hear like how they got their start, but we're going to try to add as much value as humanly possible in the next 57 minutes. We did have a webinar a short time ago that I think would be equally valuable. It's very skincare focused. So if that is you, or that's a sort of a category or an adjacent category that you think would be valuable, in that webinar, we walked through our ultimate guide to conducting your own audit for increasing conversion, retention, and customer lifetime value. We did a mini audit of Murad Skincare, which is an awesome founder-led skincare brand, and we did some live ideation sessions. So if you want to see the recording from last time and you weren't with us, scan the QR code and check that out. Before we get into the competition, which, by the way, you all will be voting on, we are going to just give you a quick few slides about the structure that both of us sort of followed as we designed each of these respective loyalty programs. So again, trying to add value, you'll see the framework. So if you have to leave midway through, maybe you only see Chris, and that would be a shame because I'm going second and mine's definitely going to be better. But at least you'll have like a framework that you can take with you and that can help you design your program, or at least provide a benchmark for what you should be looking for out of a partner. Cool. So here's our process. Number one, we start with an audit. So as soon as we start partnering with a skincare brand, we start understanding the brand story and their pillars of differentiation. This is a really competitive market, and so really understanding what makes you unique and having that show up at every part of the touch point of your customer experience, really important. Number two, we dive into the e-commerce customer experience. A loyalty program is an added flavor to your customer's end experience with your products and your brand. And so we need to understand how it's going to plug in and show up, and also understand what you might be doing really well today that we can, stay away from. We understand what is happening in the business, which is really, really important, because when we design a loyalty program, we're not just looking at redemptions and, loyalty sign-up rate. All of those are important just to make sure that you actually have something that your customers are engaging with, but we are trying to impact your business and your bottom line, which means we need to know what business KPIs like retention, and we need to understand your gross profit margin and how that has been trending. We need to understand how new customers are coming in the door, because that will impact the ultimate ROI that we can drive. So we understand where the business is headed. We understand your products, what your margin looks like, so that we know how much we can give away, and also what sort of cross-sell opportunities there are. And we do a deep dive of your Klaviyo, your marketing automation. How are you communicating with people? All of that work culminates in specific KPIs that we can select that have the most leverage for your particular business, and that we can design a program around. The next step is understanding and designing the reward suite. So what mixture of transactional and experiential rewards that are really unique and bring out your brand's differentiation can we offer? What are those tiers? Like, what are the specific segments of customers and what are our key objective within each one of those customer segments? Are we trying to get people to really ensure that they're subscribing from when they're in tier 2 and make sure that that is like the key KPI? Or are we, deeper in the funnel, and are we trying to turn all of those, tier 4 customers into brand advocates? And we do use our proprietary calculators to understand make sure each of the rewards and each of the tier-based design is profitable. So we take care of all that for our clients. And then the other key part is, what are the campaigns that we're going to design to really drive incremental behaviors and level up the retention marketing of our clients? And then we designed the word of mouth strategy. So this is not just a referral program. It's not just, reviews and making sure those are visible on your site. And it's not just social. It's really tying these all together. If you have a big product launch, like, how is the loyalty program going to get people to not only purchase the product, but review it and share it in an Instagram story? So we take a more of a holistic view of what the word of mouth strategy should be. And in the skincare category, subscriptions and loyalty must talk to each other really, really deeply. And so we ensure that every program, depending on your subscription vendor, there's a strategy to make sure that we can help the loyalty program drive and convert more subscribers. The result is a beautiful, profitable, differentiated loyalty program that drives impact. Unfortunately, I did not know when putting this presentation together that as soon as this video goes live, it will cover up the QR code. So Barefaced is one of the client that's being featured here. So if you want to go there, you're not going to be able to use the QR code. You're going to have to go to barefaced.com, barefaced.com. Cool. So that's our process. Chris, you want to let the folks know how they should be evaluating us today?
Yeah, we need your help in basically settling a 30+ year score of who has the most powerful brain, to quote a presidential candidate. So these are the criteria. We're going to launch some polls a little bit later for each of these criteria, and you'll have the opportunity to vote. We intentionally selected 5 because, being the competitive people that we are, there was no way that we were going to allow a tie to happen. So there's 5 criteria: most likely to accomplish its KPIs, most likely to drive incremental profits, the most creative and sort of fun program design, the best idea for a challenge. So we'll feature 2 of the loyalty challenges from each of us. And then the most exciting program for customers. Like, what is really going to get your customer, the Marin and Frowny's customers, the most excited? So those are the things that I want you thinking about as we walk through these programs. So are we ready?
I don't know. Ask the audience. Is the audience ready?
Are we ready, team?
All right. Ready or not, let's go. Okay, Gracie, we got Vishvendra, we have Michael Kirshner. Let's go. All right, Chris is up first.
So very, very fun and special brand that I had the opportunity of kind of getting to know deeply through this process of auditing their business and designing this program. Also had the opportunity to try out the product myself and really liked it. So I'm going to keep doing it. But Connor, if you want to flip to the next side, as we talked about in the process of auditing their business, like, I really wanted to call out a few specific things that I learned about the brand that I think are really unique. And Connor, you can go ahead and hit the next one. So this brand is steeped in tradition. They've literally been around since the 1800s. I don't think most D2C skincare brands could say that. They blew up in the 90s, though, in the 1990s, not the 1890s, when Renee Russo mentioned that she uses the brand as part of a featured article. But the brand has really taken off since 2020. Helen Morrison has taken over as kind of the de facto face of the brand, and is featured in a lot of their edutainment type content across social medias. And ever since then, ever since really growing their social media following, the brand has taken off. One of the other things I want to call out, they built a really special and thriving community on social. So not just Helen's content across Instagram and TikTok, kind of more focused on the younger demo. They have a almost 18,000 strong private Facebook group that is highly active. I've had the opportunity to kind of take part in that community. And right now they have a really interesting 30-day challenge that just kicked off the other day. But this is, a lot of brands talk about community. They are doing it day in, day out with this private Facebook group. So think about that. That's going to resurface in how we sort of think about the loyalty program. But as you can imagine, most skincare brands are battling some familiar challenges, right? They have a subscription program. There's some opportunities that we identified for them to kind of level that up. And then Amazon is, also a place that they're selling products, but D2C is like really, the bread and butter of where they get to tell their brand story. And so how do we really think about bolstering the value prop of D2C to be able to drive as much of their revenue there as possible? So these are just some of like the key learnings. We did an illustrative financial audit as well, based on some publicly, available metrics, and they're leaving a substantial amount of revenue on the table per year. So really like big takeaways here, opportunities to optimize some of their post-purchase marketing, obviously level up the loyalty program, which we'll talk about, and then make some improvements to their on-site conversion rates, specifically focused around subscriptions, and a relatively small increase in their retention rate at their scale has tremendous opportunity to drive a really substantial increase in net sales. So focusing on retention is a huge potential unlock for them right now. The other thing I mentioned, they're doing this 30-day challenge on Facebook right now. So the other thing that I really was thinking about as I approached tackling this program is how can we scale the magic of that community from something that's only reaching 17,000 people to something that is truly reaching like their entire CRM database and loyalty members, because there's definitely more people that are loving Frownies, that are highly engaged, that are just, don't have Facebook because they're younger, or, have chosen not to sort of apply to join that community. So how can we use that to drive not only incremental, but attributable revenue? Like Facebook is such a walled garden. So how can we leverage the loyalty program to steal some of that magic and be able to attribute incremental revenue to it? So those are some of the results from the audit that ultimately helped me produce a POV on reimagined loyalty program objectives. So the first one is really around increasing recurring revenue. How can we get more people to leveraging the loyalty program? How can we get more people to subscribe, and then reduce churn of existing subscribers based on really bolstering the incentives to stay subscribed? So that's going to be the primary focus for the program. But the two others that I'm going to focus on are really driving repeat D2C purchases. So how can we, just really maximize the D2C channel value prop with compelling benefits and really tailored and personalized offers? And that's going to be focused on that 6-month retention rate. So obviously we want to get people to subscribe, but also equally as important for non-subscribers, we want to, kind of create a compelling value prop to get them to keep coming back. And then lastly, I alluded to this, but really expanding that impact of community and being able to attribute net sales and leverage the Facebook VIP group to create an engagement flywheel while they have, exciting company-wide challenges and campaigns going on. That's right. Tough to beat the Frownies community. So from there, now I've kind of, oriented myself on what do I want this program to accomplish. So one of the things that we do is we sort of map and size out the sales funnel. Obviously, like at this point, don't have visibility into all these metrics, but really important for us to understand, how can we start to convert an audience into a customer, into a subscriber, and then reactivate lapsed customers.
Would you mind if I just interrupted you for just a second? Because I think one of the things you mentioned there, just making sure that we're translating our competition to value for the audience. One of the things that we hear a lot is people are like, I don't really know what the program should accomplish. Like, what are the actual KPIs that we should do? And I just think that what you did there to complement my competitor is a really good illustration of like why all of that pre-work is necessary. Even if you've been in the trenches of your brand for, taking care of all of these different things, taking a chance to take a step back and really like that is the work that's necessary to define the right objectives for a loyalty program. So well done. If you could taper
Thank
it
you.
back.
You see that this is my opponent's trick. He uses flattery.
Yeah, I'm trying to get you to be complacent. All right, carry
I love
on.
it. Well, ultimately, we take this in order to start to imagine the potential tiers and the different behaviors that we want to drive from the people that are making up sort of each of these segments. So if you go to the next slide, Connor, this is where we really start to map out like, okay, when somebody has just joined my program, maybe they've made their first purchase, maybe they haven't yet, but they have actually signed up for the program or emails. Like, what are the most important actions that I want them to drive? In this case, really focusing on getting them to make a first purchase, but then, telling us a little bit more about themselves and following, all of our social channels. Wherever they are active on social, we want to make sure that Frownies is showing up in their feed because of all the great content that we're putting out. But once somebody's in, kind of that second tier, once they've sort of entered the Frownies fold, now we really want to focus on getting them to subscribe, maybe even joining that VIP group if they're so inclined, but also really focused on getting them to start participating in some of the other challenges that are, going to be tailored to people that are a little bit further down the funnel, have been with the brand a little bit longer. And then once they're at tier 3, stay subscribe to more SKUs. And then once we get, somebody into tier 4, this is where we really want to develop long-lasting relationships with people, make them feel really special, but tap into them to be brand advocates. We want to use this cohort as an army of advocates for our brand, to share about the brand on Facebook, to refer, and really be active participants in that VIP Facebook group. So from there, now we start to actually map out the benefits and what we can sort of afford to give away to each of the tiers that we've created. And I've come up with some fun names here. But importantly, there is a profitability model that goes into this behind the scenes. So we're looking at, all right, across these different cohorts, how many, what's the distribution, how many are going to fall into each tier, how much are they spending with us, and how much can we actually afford to give away at each tier. So the way that I've approached their rewards suite across each of their tiers is immediate value upon signing up. We want people to feel special and recognized for joining the Frownies family. But then once they get to some of the higher tiers, you'll start to notice some of the benefits really lean into the social clout and use that as kind of a behavior driver for high value customers. There's a really unique asset here in this Facebook community. How can we celebrate individual high value members as part of that community and have that be kind of a gated, benefit or reward behind reaching that timeless elite status. And then the other thing that just kind of general best practice is we always try to make sure that each tier has a combination of, hard value benefits as well as softer value benefits as well. So discounts and coupons on the hard value side, exclusive access to events, content, and giveaways as a few examples on the soft value side. So that's the rewards. Now we start to think about, all right, how might we, when we go to market with this program, how can we really pack the biggest punch? How can we make sure that we're nailing our value prop of why somebody should go out of their way? People have a million things going on. Why should they actually join our program? And so the things that I'm thinking about here for Frownies are, we really need to celebrate what's so unique about the brand, the story, the family, and also the commitment to community, and then their personalized touch, an opportunity to get periodic offers if you're a member that are based on unique skin concerns. And that's something that we sort of reserve for members. The other thing I noticed is that when I bought my Frownies, it came in a really nice like pink package, but there were no sort of like inserts or anything in there that were driving me to the Facebook group or to, back to the website with any unique offers. I made 2 purchases actually and had the same experience both times. So I think there's an opportunity to leverage packaging inserts to make sure that after somebody's made that first purchase, that we are driving them to sign up with the loyalty program if they haven't already, and communicate that value prop. So now that we've got the go-to-market figured out, we've got the rewards. I want you to meet for the first time Frownies Family Rewards. So it's an elegant and profitably designed program. It's going to be deeply integrated with their subscription business. The reward suite, the email and SMS provider, and then the reviews provider as well is another really important KPI for them. This is going to be kind of the core member dashboard that's going to emphasize gamification and really create aspiration through showing locked rewards. So some of those, hey, if you're a VIP level customer, you're going to have access to some really compelling rewards and show them as locked to create aspiration. But very importantly, we're going to make a prominent focus on these gamified challenges, which I'm going to dive into now with 3 imagined challenges for Frownies. So the first one, this is, when somebody has first joined the program, we really want to lean into this notion of welcoming them to the family. Whether they've made their first purchase or are still thinking about it, we'll kind of treat that as our first task in the challenge. But from there, like I said, we want to learn more about them so that we can send them personalized rewards and offers. And we also want to make sure that they're following along with all of our content, which is super valuable in reminding them and in informing them about how to take care of themselves. And so this challenge is really going to be focused on that KPI of 6-month retention rate. Like, how can we make sure that we are getting information about our customers and reaching them where they are across socials to bring them back and offer a reward that's going to help them level up to the next tier and unlock some additional benefits. So that's the first challenge, is welcome to the family. The second one is going to be focused on reducing their subscriber churn rate, right? So very important that once somebody subscribes for the first time, we want to incentivize them to continue to stay subscribed. And we can use loyalty challenges like this to do that by saying, hey, if you stay subscribed for 3 consecutive periods, you're going to, unlock a free Rosewater hydrator spray and 250 bonus points. By the way, if you also write us a review, we'll tack on an additional 100 points. Importantly, you see the SMS message there. And on the previous slide, I had an email. The reason why these challenges are so powerful and effective is because they give us very pointed and specific things that are personalized that we can follow up with people about in a really automated way. So here we're showing SMS. Like I said, the previous one was showing how we're, incentivizing them to come back with a personalized email flow. And so the last challenge, if you recall, I talked about, some of the things that they're doing in the Facebook group. They have this 30-day challenge going on right now. This is week 1. So they have their Sculpt and Smooth community challenge going on. So how do we bring that to light in the form of a loyalty challenge that we can, again, send those programmatic nudge emails to make sure that people are completing the different tasks? So I borrowed some of the same things that they're asking people to do in Facebook, but structured them in a 1, 2, 3, 4 type process here. So watch a video, learn about lymphatic massage and how it works. try it and tell us what you think, and then share your, Frowny's referral link with a person, or it could be, like purchase a specific product, could be that kind of third, we're offering value and then we're going to make an ask. And then as a bonus activity, hey, if you're not in our Frowny's VIP Facebook group, you should go check it out. We'll incentivize you to join. And the reason that that is so important is because there's so much active discussion and engagement happening there at any given time. It's really the place where, while these challenges are going on, people are kind of partying and talking about it. And so we definitely want to encourage people to go there and tap into that community. So this is going to be a big challenge for us. And so we're going to offer 500 rewards points in exchange for it. And the reason, I couldn't just like say, hey, we're going to take this Facebook challenge and convert it into a loyalty challenge without actually, quantifying the potential impact of doing that. And the reason why it's so important that this become part of, what they're introducing to a much wider audience is because, one, right now they don't have the ability to attribute any of the incremental revenue impact that they're seeing from the challenge in Facebook, and two, they're just like not reaching nearly enough people. They sent out some emails ahead of time to let people know. I was actually tracking it, and I think the Facebook group grew by about 200 people over the last week or so. So we're still talking like very small numbers, but if they were to take this approach and focus even on just a subset of their loyalty members, Connor, if you want to hit the next one, we are projecting that each challenge could produce an incremental $100,000 minimum of attributable net sales to these loyalty challenges. And again, we can really use the Facebook community to kind of tap into the engagement flywheel and get people talking about the challenge and reinforcing it. So those are the three, kind of base challenges that we would kick off the program with. I also wanted to come up with some ideas for additional offers and challenges that could really tap into kind of the personalization side of things, and also, getting people to, not just engage on the Facebook side of things. Again, like the younger generation is not spending as much time there. So weaving in some UGC challenges on Instagram and TikTok as an example, or using really personalized offers based on, somebody hasn't subscribed yet, we want to get them to subscribe. Or if somebody has purchased the patches, but they haven't necessarily tried the skincare products yet, we can deliver them a personalized offer through the loyalty program as well. So already starting to think ahead, Connor. I don't know if you could say the same after the initial launch. You're on mute, but I'm sure that was a great zinger.
I said, I'm already shaking in my boots, Chris. You're doing a good job.
Cool. I just have a couple of last things here. We are going to use this loyalty program to level up their personalized communications. I've used the word personalization a lot. Email and SMS are really the workhorse of any great loyalty program. And what we tend to see is that loyalty emails have the highest revenue per send of any email category aside from abandoned cart. And so this is just kind of a flavor of some of the emails that we're actually going to be setting up for Frownies as we implement this program. So, really just like leveling up the number of personalized touch points that their customers are going to get throughout the year. And then finally, I've gone the extra mile and I've said, hey, if we were to really do this thing, what would be the steps? What are the platforms we need to integrate with, and so forth? And this is kind of our standard mutual plan template. And so I've mapped out, hey, if we were to do a kickoff call here in a couple of weeks, this program would actually be ready to launch in less than 2 months, which is really exciting because it's a huge level up from their current rewards program today. So
Mic drop.
That's the reimagined Frownies loyalty program. And I'm going to turn it over to my esteemed colleague to
wow, you're right on schedule too. All right, that was a lot. Right. That was a lot to I'm not I'm not happy about going after that, but I am thrilled to share what I've learned about the Marin skincare brand, and show you all my work and let the cards fall where they may. So, let's get into it. Marin Skincare, the inventors of the original lobster lotion. Different than Frownies because this is a newer brand, not started in the 1800s, started as recent as 2020. But the way that they got started is absolutely fascinating, and it all culminates in like their key killer ingredient, in the brand. So I'm going to share it with you. This company was started by bioengineers that were studying in Maine, got together, and at least one of them in particular, Amber, was suffering from eczema. And no matter what, that she was stuck between these sort of off-the-shelf, sort of standard solutions, or steroid solutions that require prescription. And they got together with a lobster scientist that identified, that was working on experimenting with an ingredient, the same ingredient, glycoprotein, that allows lobsters to regenerate their limbs, was being tested to see whether it could help regenerate skin and soothe and heal eczema. Turns out it could. And so this was a business that the founders felt absolutely compelled to build. And the other key thing that I want to share about their brand is that it started in Maine, and the employees are based in Maine. It's really, really local, but they have started to take that local, special New England vibe and feel, and spread it into a few other SKUs and products, and really accentuate that like New England nostalgia as a part of their brand. So that is going to show up later in the program design, and something really, really important that I wanted to share. So as part of my audit, I'm a little bit more technical than Chris. Like, I do occasional software and like coding. I'm a little bit more fluent in Figma and some other tools. So I mapped out Marin Skincare's entire customer lifecycle in Figma. You can go check out the Figma here with scanning the QR code. So take that, Chris. But some of the key insights and opportunities that I found for them to improve and drive some growth on the retention side: post-purchase marketing. They do have inserts, and they have a number of like engaging emails that are coming from the founder, and that are sent to their newsletter list. But I felt like there was an opportunity to really, level up and ensure success with that first experience with the product. We have a client that does that really, really well, called Magic Mind. And I think that there's an opportunity for us to have the loyalty program and a really deliberate sort of, post-purchase challenge, that could be helpful in driving for 1 month retention. I also felt like there was a lot of opportunities to capture more data. Marin Skincare is still early. They don't have like a huge, vast number of SKUs, but understanding the concerns and the different reasons that their customers are coming to their site would allow them, even if they end up recommending or providing an offer or reward or some marketing for the same product, understanding more where their customers are coming from would allow them to personalize that offer, reward, incentive, and marketing message, to ultimately develop a deeper connection and drive more revenue. And then finally, they have a ton of reviews on their site for their limited number of products, despite being a recently launched brand. And people are rabid fans about the business, but they don't have a referral program. So just an obvious like opportunity. This is an earlier stage brand that's still has a lean team. So every new investment requires resources. But one of the things I've made sure to want to try to do is to bootstrap their referral program and really turn their rabid fan base into ambassadors and drive new customer acquisition. So conducting the same illustrative audit, we don't have any data with Marin Skincare, but we work with skincare brands, and we have we're savvy people. So I put together a model estimating based on some of their products and their SKU count and all of these different things, like what could solving some of these problems, like what could that do to their business? And it's significant, increasing their business by a quarter of the size. And that sort of analysis, thinking about the business, again, like what Chris said, this is what helps us decide the specific KPIs that we should design a program around. For them, I think that 1 month retention rate, 1 to 2 months, trying to get people off on the right foot to be successful with the product. We'd like to all believe that somebody makes their first purchase, they saw a compelling Instagram ad, they made a purchase, and that they're just sitting there waiting and looking at all of our transactional emails, like, when is this product going to come? And they snatch it, they unbox it, it's a magical experience, they apply it, and their problem solved. But in reality, like, I got to pick up my kids later, like, I'm sort of bouncing back and forth all these different things, trying to put together stuff for a webinar, and the product might sit there for a little bit. And if we're not, sending emails, providing incentives, and really trying to maximize the chance of success with that first month, we might be leaving revenue on the table. So that is going to be a big focus that will show up later. The other thing is 6-month lifetime profit. I've heard some horror stories of other brands that have put together like subscription offers, and it sort of just moved out the problem that they had in terms of their retention rates. It increased retention, but their profits went down. And so that is not a good trade. Like, we need to protect our bottom line and our margin. So we could give out 99% of our sales to boost retention to astronomical rates, but if it's not ultimately a profitable trade for the business, that's not good. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that. And the last piece is we're going to really 100 monthly referrals for the size of brand that I'm estimating. That's a lot, but I think that there's an opportunity to make that happen with some of our unique tactics. Also, in terms of focusing on like the segments within the business, we're going to focus, here as people are. I think Martin Skincare does a really good job. I would recommend you check out their landing page, because they have that hero product. They do a great job of really like turning their landing page into a product details page. And you can, like, in one click on their landing page, subscribe and add that subscription offer, or add that subscription to your cart, which I just think is really great. Just knowing what they have to offer their customers and making that easy. So we're going to really focus on, once people make that first purchase, trying to expand from a one product customer. Maybe they bought one of their lip treatments because of some of their really unique New England style flavors, or maybe they came because they're really suffering from eczema and they want the lotion and cream to help them. We want to focus on trying to expand them to multiple SKUs, convert them to a subscriber, and then ultimately turn them into an advocate. So I'd like to welcome all of you. I did a poll on LinkedIn to get some feedback on different names. The one that I ultimately picked was, I don't think it was the winner, but it was in the top 2. I also, the other sort of like precursor I have to give, difference between Chris and I. Chris was number 6 in our graduating class. I was number 8. Chris was the one that would do his homework before everything else. I'm a little bit more of a procrastinator, but I'm a little bit more of a risk taker. So I wanted to be bold. So I'd like to welcome all of you to the New England Soothe crew. The key value props of this program are free gifts. Just from a marketing language perspective, like, this is very successful. Gifts, especially in the skincare category, like, it's just something that people love. And if you don't have the word free in your copy on your loyalty program, like, you're missing out. Like, read David Ogilvy's Confessions of an Advertising Man. Like, that is still true, and we see big differences even in like click-through rates on emails for our clients. Value prop number 2, express your voice. The founder Amber has shows some behind the scenes of the brand building process. And I think that there's an opportunity to turn that fan base into, an asset. Like, what different types of flavors do you want to see from us? What other types of products? What are some interesting partnerships that we could do? Try to give, your customers that care about your product the opportunity to have a voice. Take some of the magic that Frownies has been doing for a while and see how you can inject it in a lighter touch way into your business. And then finally, this is the most unique thing that I'm excited about. I went through a number of different names and creative like approaches, and lobster was something that was just like, when you think about your skin, like, I I thought that really leaning into the New England vibe, it felt a little bit more scalable for their different products. And so because they have a limited number of SKUs, I thought that their loyalty program could offer some rewards and really partner with some of the local main establishments or that provide totally complementary products, but that still provide that New England aspiration that maybe a mom or a college age kid in California or Montana that are a long way away from New England could still get by participating with the brand. So like Chris, I used our tiered reward calculator to ensure that we're doing things in a profitable way. I mentioned the sort of measures with local partnerships that would need to be administered easily via giveaways or just via other e-commerce brands where you can easily upload a sort of coupon that certain customer segments could unlock. There's a little bit more to unpack there, but it was too good of an initial creative idea not to include it. The other thing I would need to be mindful of with this program is I have to assume that with the glycoproteins, like the other super cool thing about Marin Skincare is that their supply chain is using that glycoprotein that's just poured down the drain as part of the lobster, food like processing industry. And so I have to imagine that their supply chain might be a little bit more, expensive than another brand that might use, tried and true, like standard formulas, but just repackaged with a different brand. So we would really need to take into account what their margins are and their SKUs. Their products also aren't like massively expensive. They're really affordable. So that's just something that we need to be mindful of when designing the program. So let's dive in. I'm excited to show you the challenges. I consider myself now competing for the top challenge reward. So let's see what you think. Okay, so the first challenge I want to walk you through is this really trying to aggressively tackle that 1 month retention rate, trying to get people successful with their first purchase with two things. Number one, we're going to design a really engaging email series that's sort of a flow that has a lot of emails associated with it that all have a specific objective and what they're trying to educate and challenge the customer to do and educate them. And then there's going to be a loyalty challenge, and that offer of 2,500 bonus points, Soothe Crude points, and a $10 discount on their next order is going to be advertised. You can see here around the middle of the page. That's going to be advertised. Like, make sure you follow along because this is going to help you have the most success with our products. And at the end, there's going to be the opportunity to take a quiz and unlock some loyalty bonus points that will make your next purchase even easier. So combination of loyalty challenge, and we're going to put together an engaging email series. I'm hoping it's going to be tough to beat Chris's community, like translating the Facebook community to a more at-scale loyalty challenge, but I'm hoping that gets us close. The other thing, I swear that Chris copied me on this, but I couldn't, and this was my original idea, but the fact of the matter is, like, these subscription challenges work. Like, we use them for all of our skincare clients. It is an amazing way to tie in your subscription program with your loyalty program. The one variation that I'm going to do now that I saw Chris's subscription challenge is we're going to have a couple of different versions of these. One that's targeting existing active subscribers, and then one that's targeting customers that haven't subscribed yet. And we're going to change the structure a little bit, as well as the messaging. So hopefully I can get some brownie points from the audience on additional personalization, or at least more so than my competitor. And then finally, referrals is a huge opportunity for Marin Skincare. So in addition to setting up a standard referral program, we're also going to have a referral challenge that doesn't just refer one friend, but really incentivizes and lays out a pathway to become a super fan, an advocate, with some bonus rewards for referring up to 10 friends. So I'm really excited. This is another just like innovative way to go above and beyond and get more results than just a standard sort of cookie cutter referral approach that I am going to do for Marin. And the last thing, begging for your votes. I am going to, and now I'm fighting for the KPI vote. Chris did a really good job of like walking through, a thoughtful presentation, but I'm the one that actually is in the trenches with customers after we launch to continue to analyze their program, to extract and mine insights that can help the business and help define new campaigns that I actually implement for you. So when you're thinking about which of these programs has a higher likelihood of achieving their KPIs, I'm the one that's going to be trying to optimize Marin's program. So vote for Connor. It's
All
time.
right. Well done.
At least I got the
Well
last
done.
word.
And I said this in Slack or in the chat, but Connor has a fatal shellfish allergy. And so
That's
I
true.
do commend him on putting his life on the line to design a really informed loyalty program.
That might have
So
been why
now,
I didn't include lobsters in the name of the program. I've been looking at way more lobsters in the last week than I have in probably my lifetime combined.
well, now it's time for you to decide. And I'm about to launch 5 different polls for the 5 different criteria. So please, please, please take the opportunity to vote. I've never done a Zoom poll before, so I'm hoping this works. All right, I
And
launched
it
the
looks like
first
Chris and
one.
I get to vote as well.
Oh, it looks like you can only have one live at a time. So accomplish its KPIs.
Oh, hosts and panelists can't vote, unfortunately.
Connor, looks like you got me. Oh, oh, oh. Come on.
I can't see. Are you the only one that can see the results?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. All right, so it's currently 60% Marin, 40% Frowny. So pretty close. I'm gonna go ahead and end that poll and start the next one. Most likely to drive incremental profits. So, based on the core design, based on the campaigns that we've outlined, like what program here is more likely going to drive incremental results that wouldn't have necessarily happened otherwise.
I commend you, because if I was the one that was introducing the votes, I would be way more persuasive to try to get people to vote for me than you are.
All right, Frownies is in the lead 70-30. So I'm going to go ahead and end that one. The next one is most creative program design. So just who is kind of the most off the wall with their design and thinking about the program. Here we go. Oh, Marin so far. Oh,
Yeah, your community stuff was
people like lobster. I spent the weekend in New England this past weekend, and I had more lobster than I'll probably need for the rest of the year. But it looks like you're gonna win this one. It's 89% Marin.
That's a little bit of our personality, I think. Or at least that's I was going for that one.
Sorry, Frowny's team. Sorry to let you down. All right, I'm gonna end that one. Now this one, the best idea for a challenge. So I've included the Frownies Welcome to the Family Challenge. So, how we're sort of welcoming people right away. Frownies Sculpt and Smooth Community Challenge. So how we're taking that Facebook challenge and campaign and really leveling up the scale. A lot of content, but also driving incremental revenue. And then I've got the Marin 30-Day Sooth Challenge and the Marin Stay Subscribed. Kind of split results so far. Actually, okay, each one of them now has at least one vote. The 30-Day Sooth Challenge is currently in the lead, though, by a thin margin. All right, any more votes on this one?
Any more votes? Chris is begging.
We need one more vote to tip the scale, because there is a Frownies and a Marin one tied right now.
Oh, come on.
All right, Marin wins it.
Let's go.
Okay. The last one, the most exciting program for customers. Like which one of these programs are customers just going to get really fired up about?
Chris is the only one that can see. It's not fair.
It's evening out.
Do, 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 do.
Before I end this one, Connor, do you recall off the top of your head who like the winner from each of these so far?
So going to accomplish its KPIs was Marin, I think, because I'm managing it. Yours was Frownies was most likely to drive incremental profits, which candidly is the most important thing. Most creative program design was Marin, and then
Marin.
number four was barely Marin as well. So
Was
I think
barely
I think
Marin.
I've officially won, but
Uh,
now I'm just trying to put my foot on your throat a little bit.
all right. Well, I think you did
All right.
70% Marin on the most
Wow.
exciting program for customers. I feel like I have failed the Frownies team,
I
if
don't
they're
know,
anything.
man.
So
Incremental profits is the whole reason a loyalty program exists. So all we can do all of the other stuff. Anyway, let's wrap this up.
it was, yeah, it was a hard fought battle. Thank you guys so much for participating and voting. Do want to take a couple minutes here. We probably have time for like one or two quick questions. And then Connor, if you actually want to flip to the next slide, we would love, 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 if you haven't already, please take us up on a free retention audit. You got hopefully a flavor for, you know, some of the insights that we call out as part of those. So you should be able to scan that QR code and that will take you right to my calendar. Or feel free to send me an email by, I guess, a week and a day from now. And we would love to do one of these for free for you guys for, you know, spending the last hour of your time
Yeah,
with
we
us.
really, really appreciate. We know everybody's busy and spending time. We hope this was valuable, and we love doing these audits. It's educational for us, and so far has been very useful for people who have done them. So, yeah, take us up on it.
All right, we have a question. Do you need to have an existing loyalty program to be audited, or could it be for a brand considering one? No, you do not need an existing loyalty program. Connor accentuated this a little bit more than I did, but you know, we are just getting as deep as we can from the outside looking in at all, you know, all of your unique assets as a brand. We're actually going through the process. I mean, part of the reason why I have this beyond it being an amazing product is, you know, we're going through the entire e-commerce customer experience, making a purchase to analyze your post-purchase marketing. So no, in short, you do not need a loyalty program. And hopefully some of the ideas that we'll share will be useful if you are thinking about a loyalty program.
And if that's not like on your roadmap, you know, like when you dive that deep into somebody's experience, like you find stuff that usually can be fixed and, you know,
That's
without.
right. Yep. Quick wins are kind of the primary reason we do those.
Yep.
Um, what kind of
Oh,
meta integrations? Yeah, Connor, do you want to take that one?
yeah. So Meta's APIs are very, very limited at when it comes to like getting people's followers. So to actually do that, and there are some products out there, and if you know want some recommendations, I can point you in their direction that like scrape, you know, people's followers and like and do some things that like are a little bit shadier or a little bit like more at risk. So we any of our meta integrations are we just try to stay above the board and make sure that we don't put something out there that is at risk of disrupting your customer experience and you know getting impacted by meta. So I can direct you in the direction of some sort of widgets that can help with that and specialize in some of the scraping things if that's what you're interested in. Cool. Feel free to reach out and we will do that. You see Chris's email right there.
Cool. Any other questions? Connor, it's been a pleasure.
It has, my friend.
I think these are two pretty kick-ass loyalty
I agree.
programs. So,
I agree. Take care, everyone. Let us know if we can be helpful. Thanks for spending time with us.
thanks, everybody.